Hi, third graders. Today we're going to talk about how division and multiplication are related, and we're going to start off by watching this short video.
Ugh. Multiplication and division are not as hard as they look. Multiplication is like repeated addition, division is like repeated subtraction. Here we have two math problems that are already completed. 3 times 4 equals 12. And 12 divided by 3 equals 4. In division, we are sharing something equally. Division is just the opposite of multiplication. We call that the inverse. Now let's look at the relationship between these two problems. In the problem 3 times 4, there are 3 groups. And within each group, we have 4 dots representing the 4 that are in each group. There are 12 dots total, which is our answer. In the division problem, you will notice that the 12 is at the beginning. In a division problem, you start with the total number of dots. The problem is telling us that we will take 12 dots and divide them equally among 3 groups. We will put a dot in each group until all dots are gone. Can you tell me how many dots are in each group? There are 4 dots in each group, just like the answer. Awesome! In both the multiplication and division problems, the smaller numbers tell us how many groups we have and how many items go in each group. The biggest number in each problem is the total amount of items, or dots, in our case. Here are 2 more problems, but they don't give us the answer. Let's start with the division problem and see if using multiplication can help us. 15 divided by 3 equals blank. 15 is the large number or total of dots. We are dividing the 15 dots equally among 3 groups. We start by using our 3 groups and share the dots equally. To do this, we will put 1 dot in each group until they are gone. How many dots are in each group? The answer is 5. Great job! So 15 divided by 3 is 5. If we pay attention, we can see that 5 multiplied by 3 in the problem gives us 15. Wait a minute. We just answered the multiplication problem on the left. 5 times 3 equals 15. It's really important to remember that in division, you are finding what 2 numbers multiplied together equal the largest number. The 2 smaller numbers in this division problem multiplied together gives us the largest number, which is 15.
Alright, so let's do some practice. Here we have a word problem that says Emily has 12 marbles. She wants to put them in 3 equal groups. How many groups of marbles does Emily have? Well, because we know the total is 12, we are solving a division problem because we already know the big number or the total. So we are going to make a picture and we are going to put them in 3 equal groups. So I drew my equal groups and I'm going to drag a marble into each group until they're all gone. So now I can tell that in each group there are 4 marbles. So now we can start filling out our division equation. We know there was a total of 12 marbles. We broke them apart into 3 equal groups. And we figured out the answer, which was how many marbles are in each group. And that answer is 4. So let's label what we have. We know that the total was 12, so I'm going to put a T for total. We know that the 3 represents the number of groups. I'm going to put a G for groups. And we know that there are 4 marbles in each group. So I'm going to put an S for size of group. We can use the same problem to write a multiplication equation. So instead of dividing these 12 marbles into 3 groups, let's work backwards and make a multiplication equation. We have 3 groups of 4, so I'm going to make this into an array. I'm going to make 3 rows of 4. There's 1 row. That marble looks a little squashed. There's 2 rows, and here is my 3rd row. Again, I'm putting them all back together. Before I divided them apart, now I'm putting them back together. So what do we have? We have 3 groups or 3 rows. There are 4 in each row, that's the size. And if we count by 4s, 4, 8, 12, we find the total. So we just solved a division problem and changed it into a multiplication equation. Let's practice another. This problem says Kelly has some buttons. She wants to arrange them into 6 rows of 4. How many total buttons does she have? What do we know? We know she wants to arrange them in 6 rows of 4. What are we looking for here? We are looking for the total number of buttons. So since we're looking for the total, we're not solving a division equation, we are solving a multiplication equation. So I'm going to arrange these into 6 rows of 4. Okay, so now that I have my buttons arranged into 6 rows of 4, we can solve our multiplication problem. We know we have 6 rows or 6 groups, and there are 4 in each group. That's the size. So now we need to figure out the total. Well, let's count by 4s. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24. So our total is 24, and that's what we were solving for. So let's change this into a division equation. Now that we know the total, we can arrange these into 6 groups of 4, or 6 groups. So let's put them in 6 groups. So here's a group, 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 and here's a group. So we already knew the total was 24. We divided them into into 6 groups, and we know that there are 4 in each group. So the 24 represents our total number of marbles, the 6 is how many groups, and the 4 is the size of each group, the same as in the multiplication problem. Or we could have said we have a total of 24, we put them in groups of 4, and we created 6 groups. In this case, the 4 would still represent the size of the group, and the 6 would still represent how many groups, depending on what we were solving for. So as you can see, all I did was flip the problem. 24, we changed that equal sign to a division sign, divided by 4 equals 6. So let's practice. Here we have 4 times 3 equals 12. Well, we know that this could be the group, number of groups, and this could be the size of each group, and we know this is the total. So we are going to take the total, put it here, the size of the group equals the number of groups. Or you could say 12 divided by 4 equals 3. It doesn't matter, as long as your big number comes first in a division problem. Here we're given a division problem and we want to make it into a multiplication equation. We know that the big number is the total, and that goes at the end of a multiplication sentence. We're going to take the groups and multiply them by the size of the groups, and 5 times 6 equals 30. So again, we just work backwards. So let's do some practice. This problem says Rick puts 15 tennis balls into cans. Each can holds 3 balls. Circle groups of 3 to show the balls in each can. So I'm going to circle groups of 3. And we know that each group represents the cans. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Rick needs 5 cans. We know that 5 groups of 3 equals the total 15. And we know that the total 15 divided into groups of 3 equals 5. So for number 2, it says Rick uses 15 tennis balls to make 5 equal groups. Draw to show how many tennis balls are in each group. So in this problem, it tells me that there's 5 equal groups. So I'm just going to draw a line for each group. And I'm going to go ahead and create 15 tennis balls. And I'm going to drag a tennis ball into each group until they're all gone. Alright, so the first question says there are blank tennis balls in each group. We can see that there's 3 tennis balls in each group. So the 5 groups times 3 in each group equals 15. And the 15 divided into 5 groups equals 3 in each group. I'm noticing something here. We use the same number of tennis balls and the same number in each group, and we had the same number of groups. So why are these answers 3 and these answers 5? The reason that they're different is because here we were solving for how many groups, and here we were solving for the size of each group. Same numbers, we were just solving for 2 different things. So number 3 says, use an array to model problem 1. So I'm going to take these tennis balls and arrange them into an array. Okay, so here's my array. And A says blank times 3 equals 15. Well, here the 3 represents the size of each group, or the number in each row. So this is going to be how many rows there are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5 times 3 equals 15. And 15, the total, divided into rows of 3 equals 1 row, 2 rows, 3 rows, 4 rows, 5 rows. So the number in each blank represents the number of rows or groups. B says 5 times blank equals 15. Well, there's 5 rows, so the 5 is the rows, which we just put here, times how many are in each row? 3. So 15 divided into 5 rows equals 3 in each row. So the number in these blanks represents the size of the groups, or the rows. So again, we're dealing with the same 3 numbers, 15, 3, and 5. We just have different answers depending on what we're solving for. So always remember to figure out what you're solving for and what each number represents, so you can figure out your multiplication and division equations. Have a great day!